Well, folks, welcome to our Friday live. And man, do we have a bombshell to go over today? Open up Instagram and boom, the Blue Hackle Club is front and center. I want to talk about it. Having some spicy conversations with my friends, furiously deleting my group chats. I don't know. They're going after me next. I'm retired. I don't know. Anybody that's like mysteriously quiet right now is probably deleting a lot of group chats. Just Signal, Facebook, just mass deletions going on. The Blue Hackle Club, they're getting pilloried right now. So welcome to the show, guys. I hope you're having a great Friday. This is going to be my last show for July anyways, because I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off. I'm going to enjoy the summer with the kids and start dad school. Doing a few weeks of getting up in the morning, doing some PT, doing some combat work, doing some groundwork, the BJJ dummy. That's not me. That's an actual dummy. Doing some striking, learning how to climb a rope, doing all kinds of fun stuff that you just don't get to do in school, right? So the kids are fired up. I'm fired up, and I hope you're fired up. It's a great summer this year. There's so much to do. If you're not aware, if you're Canadian, the government's giving out basically like free travel across Canada. If you want to hop on one of those shitty Via trains, they're kind of ghetto, I'm not going to lie. But for kids under, I can't remember how old. I think it's under 10, and they get the ride for free. Adults, I think it's 25% off. Go experience this awesome country. I'm going to be doing as much as I can this year. We're going out east, spending a week out there. And I think the parks, I don't know if they're free this year, the national parks, but there's definitely a discount there. So go check it out, guys. Enjoy our amazing country. It's really cool to get out and see the awesome sights. Take it for granted, right? So there's a few other things I want to go over too. Namely, I had my book launch the other week, which went really, really well. So if you guys got a copy and you showed up, thank you. If you didn't, I got a solution for that. And also what's coming up on the podcast. I wanted to go over a whole bunch of other stuff like what RFK is doing, but I'm going to have to wait because it's just like nonstop bombshell headlines that I think is going to require its own episode in and of itself. So if you're tuning in, drop a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let's get the comments rolling. Let's get them up here on the screen. And let's get into the meat of today. So let's look at this. We'll get to it in a second. If you guys are unaware, this is what I'm talking about here. Okay. If you guys are unaware, this is the Blue Hackle Club. And oh man, these guys are in a world of pain today. So this is going to be the meat of the content today. We're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at the other memes that are being dropped and just my 2 cents on the whole ordeal here. But before we do that, my book here, if you haven't got yourself a copy, what are you waiting for? Get yourself a copy of Harden to Fuck Up. It's already an Amazon bestseller. It is now available on Indigo Books. So for all you Canucks out there, let me pull up that website. I forgot to do that. Let's pull up that website. So if you go to indigobooks.ca, that's not it. Indigo Books and Indigo Chapters. You go there, you're going to be able to find my book, which is pretty cool. And here we go. It's now available. I love the fact that I'm now in a big boy bookstore. Oh, where'd it go? Of course, when I'm live, it doesn't show up. So I'll post the link once, probably because I'm putting in the actual F word in there. It's probably not showing up. So I'll put the link here in the description. You can now get it on Indigo, which is really encouraging. Plus, I'll be doing another book signing / event in the fall. So stay tuned for that. If you guys weren't able to make it to get yourself a signed copy, I've created the Hard AF Originals Founders Club. The point of this is to get you a book. I sold out all my books, so I have literally none to show you right now, but you're going to get a numbered copy. So there's 100 copies that are going to be signed and are going to be numbered, and that's it. Right now, think I've got 9 or 10 folks that are already on that list. So shout out to Steve Gregory, Adam Baxter, Joe Nunez, John Odette, Angia Barbieri, Martin DV, Jim Allen, Sergeant K, and Tasso Vavaricos. You guys are on the Hard AF Originals Founders list. You also, if you get on this list, so this is my hard pitch to you guys, you don't just get the book signed and sent to you. That's great. I'm sure you guys, hey, cool, I just want that. But I'm going to give you some goodies as well. So as you can see here, if you put your name and address, I got to be able to send it to you, right? You get a free digital copy right out the gate. So the email shows up, boom, get a digital copy. That's yours. You also get the signed numbered copy that I just went over. You get a private link to a YouTube playlist that has the entire audiobook. Now, some of those episodes are going to be edited with a lot more than what you would get just from the audio version. Okay. So that's for you guys as well. And you get to be one of the first 100 people to try my new GPT. So my new AI coach that fits in your pocket based off of all my years of coaching, all my 200 plus guests that have been on the podcast. You can build your meal plans, your workout plans, your mental health plans, everything that you would get from the Hard to Kill podcast, but now in a literal AI coach, which is like having my brain in your pocket. You get to test that out as well for becoming a member. So if you want to do that, I'm going to drop the link here right now, and you can become a Originals member today. Can't wait. So that being said, I've also got a new membership as well. If this is a bit too spicy, too rich for your blood, we're also doing memberships here on the Hard to Kill podcast on YouTube. So what does that mean? It means that there is the ability for you to give a little bit of your hard-earned shekels or your VAC bucks or your calf salary or your day-to-day job salary to support the show. We just opened up a new tier, the $2.99 recruit level, which is buying me a coffee and keeping my coffee dependency dialed in. That's a way to say thanks, and you get a shout out. There's also Fire Team Charlie. You get members only live chats, early access to new videos, and members only shorts. And the HQ, which is member shout outs, discounted merch. So you get a coupon for that. Members only live streams and videos just for you. So those are the tiers that are available to you folks. It really goes a long way, helps grow the show and bring in a hell of a lot bigger and better guests as we progress through the years. And as you can tell, even without a budget, we've been able to get some pretty banger guests here. So would really appreciate the support, especially moving into the fall and growing this show and expanding into bigger, more advanced areas of the market, namely the US. As we start penetrating into there, we're going to start seeing a lot more in terms of eyeballs and having the Canadian veteran experience brought to a broader audience. So thanks for all the support already, and go become a member today. Okay. So what you guys have all been waiting for. Okay. Army members Facebook group under investigation for abhorrent content. Abhorrent content. So I've read these. Okay. These articles, they're doing their thing, man. They're doing their reporting. Now they all use the word abhorrent. So I guess the press release went out and they're just like copy paste. Abhorrent is the word of the day. It's the adjective of today. Let's go with abhorrent. It's a very strong adjective. I like it. Let's get into the meat of it. So military police say they have reopened an investigation. So this is like the reopen, meaning they've already looked. So this is interesting. So they've already looked into it. They said, man, there's nothing to see here. But now for whatever reason now, because everything got leaked. So somebody's pissed. I don't know who's pissed. Somebody's pissed. An investigation into a Facebook group the Canadian Army's commanding officer describes as abhorrent. Okay. Lieutenant General Michael Wright says he was made aware of the allegations about a Facebook group called the Blue Hackle Mafia on June 25th, and that they involved members of the Canadian Army. Wright says the group's posts featured racist, misogynistic, homophobic, and anti-Semitic comments and images. The group was initially reported to the Army chain of command last December. Oh, okay. And the Office of the Canadian Forces Provost Marshal says the case was transferred to the unit for a disciplinary investigation. Okay. The investigation was reopened on June 27th, according to an email statement from the Provost Marshal's office. Wright says that all members of the Canadian Army need to hold themselves to the highest standards, and anyone caught engaging in this type of online behavior could face administrative or disciplinary consequences. Okay, cool. Now, what was it? What was it? Well, thanks to Corporal News Network, we're gonna get a taste. Okay, we got a picture here. This is, I guess, from the Ottawa Citizen. So yeah, we have a little like dick pic action, not literally here. If you're listening on audio, it's like a silhouette of one, and all right, the guys' faces are blurred out. That's not that bad. I mean, that's pretty standard infantry stuff. And for you guys that are just like unaware of who this is the Cameron Highlanders, the Blue Hackles, the Cameron Highlanders in Ottawa. So shout out to the Cal Highs. You guys are going through it today. Oh boy. Was that it? Let's see here. So reading from the article, for years, soldiers with the Ottawa military unit have operated a private Facebook account where they post photos of themselves in uniform, exposing their genitals, as well as anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and homophobic and racist comments. Sounds pretty standard for an infantry unit. Now, they go into how long it's been. The Canadian Army confirmed that the Ottawa unit started an investigation December. Okay, we already went over that. Hackle Mafia opened its Facebook page with around 200 participants it was open for at least 14 years. So that means like the end of the war in Afghanistan. So 2010, right? I'm saying that for a reason. I'll get to it in a second. Some of the images posted show male soldiers in uniform exposing their genitals. Yeah, they're a Highland unit. That's pretty standard. Others posting naked with Canadian Forces weapons. Yeah, that's pretty standard. I got a few of those. But hey, the thing was, when I joined, there was no such thing as Facebook. I just have like my pictures in my photo album where they should be, right? Where they should be. And simulating sexual acts with each other in uniform. Yeah. Again, private collection. No Facebook when I joined. Definitely helps. Definitely helps not getting exposed. Some of the photos were taken at military installations. Yeah, that makes sense. These are also derogatory sexual comments posted about former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as discussions about raping. Oh shit. I didn't say the word that. I didn't say that word. I said raking. Raking, YouTube. I said raking grandmothers. Raking grandmothers. The act of raking, like with leaves. In other cases, posts disparage both. Can I say Jews on? Yeah, I can say it's a real word, and Muslims. Okay. In one posting, the military personnel talk about getting together for drinks at an Ottawa bar. All welcome except the Jews, of course. Oh man, that does not look good. The post ended. All right. The Ottawa Citizen provided screenshots of some of the postings on Canadian Army Commander Lieutenant General White, after which he confirmed that investigation had already been started. Okay, so what are some of the pictures? There we go. It's blurred, YouTube. This is blurred. This is blurred. It's in the actual post on an Ottawa Citizen. Don't strike my channel. All right, that's pretty standard stuff for a Highland unit. We got any other pictures here? We have the comment here. Guys talking about random stuff. Trudeau. Yeah. This is all pretty standard pictures from an infantry unit. Now, what other memes we got going on here? And if you guys have checked this out, like, go check him out on Corporal News Networks. Like I'm going to drop the meme like dump that he put here, but it's absolute fire. Blue Hackle wasn't so bad. It's deplorable. They should all be released. Anyone that's in a not suitable for work group chat is just casually oh man. Yeah. Same thing, but me wondering if Highlanders always wear underwear. Yeah. No, I don't think they do, man. I'm pretty sure they free ball it all the time. And yesterday was where I got tipped off. It wasn't this meme. It was actually this meme here. Looking down at the why was an entire regiment hauled into unit lines and giving talking points for the media? A, what someone posted on Facebook. B, a group chat. C, what someone posted on Reddit. D, a post by CNN. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. So the memes have been fast and furious. Sasquatch having a dart. The troops in the Blue Hackle group realizing the group chat is leaked and they are about to be made an example of. Oh, wow. There we go. All right. I guess I'll just get into what, my 2 cents on this, if that even matters. Infantry stupidities and nonsense and civilian life do not mix. So whatever you post, that shit gets out, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. The title of this was, or the thumbnail was, infantry soldiers are degenerates, like question mark. We're asked to do a really dirty, awful job. We're the only job in the entire country that's mandated to kill people. That's a heavy toll. And you don't want necessarily the best, brightest, and like most, I guess, socially conscious people in your fighting units. I mean, let's be honest, joining the infantry, you got to have a few screws loose. It doesn't make sense. Why would you want to suffer the way you suffer? You can't be normal. And if you stay past your infantry course and you love it, and then you volunteer to go take incoming fire in a war that really didn't have to be fought, there's something a little bit messed up with you. And that's me, man. Like, I'm not a normal dude. I put a good face on, a facade when I'm out with like the normal people, but when I'm with my kinsmen, I'm a degenerate. But the difference is I didn't really grow up with Facebook. I didn't grow up in the fort. I was out pretty much by the time Facebook was a thing. I used Facebook when I was overseas, but I was barely posting. It wasn't something I used, and it wasn't something that I was creating groups on. And I knew damn well that if you post anything, all somebody has to do is get in the group and then take a screenshot, and you're fucking toast. So all that being said, yeah, this isn't going to be read well. And I'm going to bring up a Bill Burr skit. Now, hopefully I don't get nailed with a copyright thing here. It's only 50 seconds, but it's from his Paper Tiger skit. So if you've seen this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But the posts that I read here and that were commented on, yeah, if they're taken out of context, 100% they're racist. But just like Bill Burr says, if you get a bad read, you'll see what I said. You'll see what I'm saying in 2 seconds. Oh, man. Oh, he freaking nailed it. He nailed it, right? I mean, take it out of context, right? He's like, how do you defend yourself? You can't, man. So you just try not to put yourselves in those situations. And, this is going to be, I haven't seen any international press on this. There likely won't be, I don't think. But the issue is, right, we're going to go all in on this, I bet. I have a feeling, right? We're going to go all in on this misogynistic, this idea that, that's not what I want to show. This idea that the CAF is full of hateful, terrible individuals, and we have a problem. And why aren't we fixing it? Right? Maybe some of the guys are terrible people. I don't know. So it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But there are a lot of bigger picture things that really don't look good, that don't get nearly as much attention because no emotion is created around them. So this is just yet another post. This is yet another post. The secret Facebook group exposes shocking racist anti-Semitic extremism. And like, I could easily point out that there's shocking anti-Semitic extremism on the streets of Montreal every day, in the universities at McGill, in the streets of Ottawa. I mean, the idea that you could chant anti-Semitic slurs at a protest and just walk down the street with no recourse doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, that's where we're living right now. So you make a few offhand inappropriate comments in a group, now you're going to get pilloried, right? But you can go on the street and yell him in a megaphone, bro. He's got a right to say that. He can say that, right? He can say that. He's allowed to. Am I off on this? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys what do you guys think right now? I'm sure all the alarm bells are going off in Canada right now. Like, oh my God, right-wing extremist podcaster defending the troops. Yeah, of course, we're going to defend the troops. Now, is that going to give a lot of ammo? Yeah, if you're thinking about like long-term consequences, probably not good. It's probably not good. And the reason why I say that is because if we're looking at the way the media and the government wants to frame the military, it's within an extremist context, right? So there's ample evidence that the destruction of the military is a goal of a very left-leaning type of government, because what it does is it completely erodes the masculine traditional maleness of your entire culture, which represents the pushback against anything that you would like to do politically. You erode the will, essentially, of the long-standing traditions that typically come from your military. And we have a strong military tradition in this country. But if you erode it and you constantly remind people that we're a bunch of racist, misogynists, and we post our nuts on Facebook and we talk about, Trudeau being a bitch, that's going to keep on resonating because people believe that, even though there's no evidence to support it. And because most Canadians have zero idea what the military represents and what the military is actually supposed to do. I mean, we came out of the longest war in history for the country, and yet nobody knows. Nobody cares. Nobody knows anybody that's in the military. Nobody asks, hey, what'd you guys do? It's fucking terrible over there. You're expecting us to come back, quote unquote, normal, and to have like a culture of normalcy within you don't want a culture of normalcy. You want your soldiers to be degenerates. They have to do degenerate things like kill people. Like that in and of itself means, well, these guys probably aren't the ones we should be holding to a higher standard. Should they be disciplined? Yeah. I mean, they fucked up. I'm saying they should be disciplined, but should they be held to account to the highest degree? Like, this is the most grievous thing that the Canadian Armed Forces could do to the country. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be honest. And the reason why it's serious is because this is just fodder, right? Canadian military extremism probe questions soldiers over Make Canada Great Again hats. And this is from 2024, right? There's an active push to identify and prove that there's right-wing extremists in the military. There's tons of researchers that they make a conclusion and then try to prove that conclusion, which is extremely anti-scientific, but they keep on hammering the same point. So they send them questionnaires like it asks if they have purchased extremism merchandise. Now, if you're a researcher and done any kind of research, you can't ask questions like that because it's a biased question. You have to ask, what type of merchandise have you purchased? You can't create false dichotomies. So offering Make Canada Great Again, Make Canada Great Again hats as an example. And it's in efforts to detect and combat hateful conduct and radicalization among the ranks. Now, what this actually does, especially within a group like the Infantry, is it creates more ridiculous posts to highlight the ridiculousness of this, which for a researcher who's not part of the culture, who doesn't understand the military, will see posts that make fun of this as racist and misogynist. Be like, see, I proved it. see what they're saying about my posts, when in reality, we just point out the absurdity of things and we don't use politically correct language. I mean, to say that, we're racist because we say really off color things about every racial group, that's not racist, man. Racism is going out of your way to make somebody of a different race than you uncomfortable just because they're a different color. I grew up with everybody's equally worthless. So I really don't give two shits. Did I get made fun of because of my race? Yes. What's my race? Anglo-Irish or Scots-Irish. I was constantly made fun of for being an alcoholic. Oh, you must know how to drink, eh, Morrow? You fucking Mick. But that's okay, right? Because I'm white. But it's ridiculous that you can't make comments about other people and their race just because, we're supposed to be in a politically correct, but we're in the mud and the dirt and blood and guts, and yet we're supposed to be like politicians. It's not how this works, man. So maybe this will shed a light on how Canadians interact with the Canadian Armed Forces. I don't know, but there's more. I mean, during the convoy, if you guys knew about James Top, so I had him on the show. He's walking across Canada. He was fed up, man. He's like, I didn't go to war and defend the country and fight for it to just have all the rights taken away and be mandated into oblivion. So they labeled him right wing. Now he's got a court case going on. I don't know what the status is of that for libel, because as soon as you stood up to the government and you were a veteran, right wing. And what's the implication of that? That somehow you're a Nazi, right? That somehow you're not to be listened to because, hey, you might not know, like for the unknowing, hey, this guy here, he has beliefs that are so bad that you can't listen to them because you don't want to be associated with Nazis, right? That's how they do this. This is straight out of left-wing politics, straight out of Marxism, literally. That's how you undermine your threats. You label everybody an extremist on the other side, even though you're the one that's doing the extremist stuff. So I can assure you, James Top is not a right-wing extremist. He just wanted to be left alone. But I highlighted a quote here, which is at the very end of the article. And this comes from, Sam Hirsch of Horizon Ottawa. So this was in 2022. So let's put that in context. I want to see acknowledgement of what this actually is from our city and from the relevant authorities. This is far right movement, and that we should take it seriously, and they're not welcome in our city. Right? That's how this was all labeled. So they're going to take this and label it again, far right extremism. In this case here, just to show you how far they'll go to start labeling us, white nationalism is a threat the Canadian Armed Forces aren't equipped for. That's from the Watchdog. This is again 2022. So I highlighted a few points here. White nationalism is an active, and that's in quotes, threat to Canadian Armed Forces. A new report says, but the force's counterintelligence unit is under-resourced and unable to proactively, in quotes, deal with the issue. The report also found the counterintelligence unit was unable to proactively address white nationalism within the ranks, an issue that the top brass in all three branches of the Canadian Forces has identified as a threat. So what does that say? Like, they literally say the report also found the counterintelligence unit was unable to proactively address white nationalism within the ranks, an issue the top brass at all three branches of Canadian Armed Forces identified as a threat. And then it wasn't immediately clear, and I'm quoting from the article again, what internal reports the NSIRA investigation was referencing, but concerns about extremist infiltration of law enforcement and military have been long standing in both Canada and the US. They don't have the result that they want. Meaning they're like, well, the reason why we didn't find any white supremacism is because your investigation unit isn't equipped enough to find it. You're under-resourced. So you're constantly trying to prove something that's not there. So you can see how your lens now is focused on this thing that doesn't exist. So when anything that even is remotely close or can be tied to it, you go, aha, I found it. Now, I grew up in the forces that I showed up with a buzzed haircut after leave once, like shaved, like a skinhead, and I got fucking reamed. I didn't understand why, but my section commander was like, we're not neo-Nazis. I don't want you here with that fucking stupid haircut again. Get a fade and make it happen. I was like, oh shit. Okay. I wasn't tracking that. But that was like stomped out from like day one. So, you know, this idea that somehow there's like rampant white nationalism is a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. We do have, you know, everybody and anybody in the forces. Technically, could there be guys that are white nationalists? Absolutely. I mean, there has to be, right? But is it a growing concern? No. I mean, the reports say it, but they want to find it, right? They want to find it. And what's the deeper meaning here? All these white guys that are in the military, we don't want them here anymore. They're a problem. They're the problem. So therefore, find the things that make them the problem. So you end up with all these programs, right? All these briefings on, you know, why white guys are the problem, why you're the colonizer and you've been oppressing people. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? The reality is I'm joining because my grandfather joined. We make up the overwhelming majority of people that want to join the forces. Most immigrants don't want to join. They don't have a culture of joining the military. So you're eroding your own pool of people for a political ideology. Let's not forget too, the most important thing about all of this, was it 2022? With all the saber rattling about Nazis. Oh my God, there's right-wing infiltrators everywhere. Oh my God. What are we going to do? The trucker convoy are a bunch of Nazis. Who's the only parliament that invited a literal Nazi and gave them a standing ovation in the planet? Like the only one. That was us. That was us. Nobody has apologized. Wayne Eyre like saluted the dude. The dude was part of the SS in our parliament. Everybody just shut the fuck up after that. Like how insulting that was to me, to my family, and to my grandfather who literally got blown up by the SS. It's just so mind-numbingly absurd. Yet they come after us for, you know, being. I mean, so I kind of went on a tangent there, but this is where this is going, guys. This is the bigger picture, right? This is all going to be used in some case study, you know, because the Camerons wanted to have a party on Facebook. Shit. Fuck, guys. Put that shit on Signal. So it's going to be interesting to see like the deeper story, if we can get some folks on that. Like, why did this happen now? Like, there's always a reason why something like this gets leaked. You know, what are the motivations? You know, why things like, because as far as I can tell, there was nobody that was individually targeted, right? And judging by some of the comments that I read on CNN, like some of the guys are clearly in the group, they're like, dude, this is like the best group ever, man. Like it kept me afloat when I was really in a dark time. It was dark humor. It's exactly what I needed. We support each other, and yeah, we're going to say stupid shit. Yeah. I mean, I don't doubt it. It's just, you can't do that in this day and age. Like everybody's got their not suitable for work group chat. They just can't be on social media. So I hope that's the lesson learned. You know, folks are going to burn. There's going to be some charges, but if anything gets a little bit more serious, I know Catherine posted something on X. So that'll be my segue into what's coming up on the podcast. Catherine Christensen posted something on X about being pursued and making sure that you have the right representation if that does happen, because as we've learned, if you guys are long-term listeners of the show, there is no distinction between the individual in the military and the civilian when it comes to the legal system. Let me explain. Here we go. So this is the tab I wanted to share. So valid legal team can help with drafting grievances and admin review representation letters. Don't face a firing squad looking for scapegoats by yourself. And that's a very important point. What we found out and what I've learned over the last few years is since there is no distinction between when you're in the military and when you're out of the military, legally speaking. And I know that's hard for a lot of folks that have been in the military for a long time to wrap their heads around, and they say you're full of shit. No, I'm not full of shit for a few reasons. First one is I did my course when I was still in. I was a summary officer, supervisory officer. When you do that course, it's one of the most fascinating courses I did. It's like a weekend course so that I can lay charges and do all that fun stuff, right, as an officer. But the lawyer that was teaching made it very clear. He's like, there's a very big problem with the military justice system in that it is not separate from the Canadian justice system. So an example, you CB somebody for, what do you get CB for? Like I got CB'd once for failing inspection. Okay. That is not legal. And although it may be fine within the confines of the military and I guess that'd be the QRNOs, it is not fine under the charter, which is part of our constitution, because that is cruel and unusual. You can't remove somebody's right to movement because they didn't clean their rifle or like the boots are dirty. So that's a human rights issue right there. Your chain of command can be sued directly. Just like if somebody aggresses you out in public, you can sue them for whatever it may be, assault. The same thing can happen in the CAF. But because we've been, if you want, I don't know if lied to is the, because I don't think people even knew. So you can't lie if you don't know what the truth is. But the law is very clear. You are a Canadian citizen with no other distinctions other than you get more rules placed on you being in the military. Now, how do you get around that? Well, the Americans knew that was a problem really early on. So Congress passed legislation that said, if you're in the military, you have the United States military justice system and you're not like a civilian, you're in the military. So if you fuck around, you find out and you don't have the same rights, which makes a hell of sense. Like that is the way it should be. You shouldn't have, because this causes a ton of confusion, because what lawyer is going to take on the government or a sergeant or a captain, or it doesn't make any sense, but you absolutely can. Now, a lot of these guys are reservists. Some of them might've been Reg Force, have gone Reg Force, whatever. And it's been 14 years. The Code of Service Discipline applies when you're on a military facility or wearing a uniform. It's just like rough interpretation. But if you didn't sign a pay sheet and you're posting on Facebook in civvies, you're not technically bound by the Code of Service Discipline. So how does that work? Well, that's confusing. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert. I don't even think the CAF could explain that. So there is a lot of gray area here. So if you are part of the Blue Hackle Mafia, and you do need legal representation, go find Catherine. Don't let people shame you into not getting a lawyer, because they will railroad you if they can and make an example of you. So make sure to get the proper legal representation. Don't let the system squash you. Even if you did something wrong, okay? You are entitled to legal representation. Don't let them smoke you. All right. So that's Dave Morrow's Hard to Kill podcast recommendation of the day. Go get your lawyers. What's going on in the comments? I completely neglected him. I was getting fired up. All right. Let's start going through. Well, 1-800-ZOBBED. I don't know what that is. Love the book title. Thanks, man. Reboot 2.0. You got a Canadian pirate flag. Your channel's new to me. Seems to be a breath of fresh air. Thanks, man. Or gal. Candace Mundy. Holy crap, hitting me on the head. I don't know about what, but thanks. Who dares? Welcome back. Proud of it. Odious patent, Fade's haircut are for the Navy. What about high and tight? I don't know. I was it was just on recruit training. I look like a Bosnian refugee. I stopped doing it because my body looks weird with my head all shaved. So, what else we got? We reboot 2.0. Odious, Rock Girl. We got some new people here. What's up, Rock Girl? Grumpy Bear. What's up? Who dares? The war's here on home soil. Yeah. Did you see that post where it was like 70% of Canadians would be willing to fight? Would be willing to fight for Canada. It's like, oh yeah. But then you get into the nuts and bolts of the poll, and it was like only about 30% said they would like actively be physical. Like 30 something percent would be like they join like a civil defense force. I don't think they know what that means. We don't have one here. I don't know. And like only 12% would like pick up a weapon out of like the 70 something percent. So it's like, what does fight mean for you? It'd be like political action. I'm like, if it's war, getting on the streets with a billboard's kind of retarded. Like, if it's war, it's war. The time for walking in the streets is over. You walk in the streets without a weapon and armor, you're dead. Like that's a dumb thing. That means you don't really understand how war happens. You don't know that there's the part that you actually have to like kill other people. Like that's war. It's not words. It's words are done. It's just Canada's so lost in the sauce, man. People are just lost in the sauce. Can we get people to actually show up and do like 1 week of military? I would make a reality TV show where it's like, all right, we got to take like 10,000 Canadians and like run them through basic training, and we film all of them. But they have to be the ones that are like, let's go fight wars on other people's soil. So let's put them in here. Like, because they're the ones that are like, yeah, let's send all our money across an ocean so that like more like young boys can, I mean, young boys, I mean like teenagers can murder themselves with drones. They need to be the ones that are like in the trenches and stuff like that. And then like the final X is like, they got to like, I don't know what they got to do. They got to like shoot at like dead pigs or something. I don't know. Just like get covered in blood. So see if they can handle that, you know, do like a TCCC course and like open up a pig and like stick needles in them and stuff. Or like what we used to do, like we had to crawl through like the razor wire and stuff like that. And like one of our sergeants like went to the butcher shop and put like meat on it and was like all like hitting you in your face and shit. It's like, fuck. He's like, it was wild, you know. I just have them do that. I don't know. Maybe it hardens people up. I don't think anybody knows exactly what war is until they've actually done it. So maybe we'll get there someday. Maybe we'll have a more wide awake populace. But I have a few last points. I hope I'm not exhausting you. I just wanted to kind of bring this all. I did the weave. I'm doing the weave right now. My point here is that like the whole fiasco here, I think is going to be really blown up. It's going to be like a nuclear bomb. It's going to mushroom cloud. But then again, it's at the end of the week. So new news cycle on Monday. So we'll see. But like we got some really big issues that don't seem to get much traction. And at a much higher level, like at a meta level. You know, like this is one I'm showing up here. D&D reviews potential violation of Officer X whistleblower's privacy. Like Sailor called for someone in the military to be held accountable for what he said was a privacy breach. And like, he was just like smoked. And like, if this Officer X, if you don't know the story, go check it out. But if this is true, what this Officer X has been doing in the Navy, it's freaking disgusting. It's like, okay, you're just hiding this guy's transgressions for decades. Holy crap. All right. We still don't know who it is. And then we got this. This is new. Canadian military police leaders refuse civilian oversight mandated by Parliament, Watchdog report says. This is the new episode I'm dropping today, actually, at 7 p.m. You can go check it out. It's with Catherine Christensen, who I just mentioned. This is a bombshell, man. Like, this is CFNIS. This is the Provost Marshal. This is the military police chief investigating branch. It's just basically saying like, oh, civilian oversight. Yeah, we're just parliament. What's that? Like, come on. You guys can't tell us what to do. And actually, kind of literally, they can't. They could just say, hey, we want you to not be doing investigations anymore. You're horrifically incompetent. No more. Like, you can't do it anymore. But they're just going, yeah. Because the reality is, it's the king who's in charge. So why do we have parliament? Why do we have this Westminster system of government? Because I can guarantee you, if Congress in the United States says you must do this, military, you know the military is going to say, got it. Because if they don't, it's freaking, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's all right. Let's get the guns. Like, because it's the civilian oversight of the military that makes it the country that it is. You can't just have the military run its, because this is implying that the military just runs its own show. And they go, yeah, we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. And they've done that with the COVID shots, with the folks that got it. Like, if you look at what happened with the COVID shots, do I have it here? I don't have it here. But Air issued an order that was proven by a third-party organization to have infringed on his own troops' rights. That's huge. Where's the repercussions? Yeah. Thanks for that review, guys. Oh, I infringed on troops' rights. Boo-hoo. I'm going to write my memoirs and talk about the awesome job that I did. It's like, no, you didn't. You fucked up the calf, man. How do you expect an organization that needs to operate on morale? This isn't some random department in the federal government that people show up to work. They don't give a shit about morale. They're in for a paycheck. They punch in, they punch out, they leave. If this is what you want to turn the military into, good luck fighting a war. Because, like, if you need to hold the flank, what keeps your unit together? It's morale. It's the fighting spirit. If you know your entire brass and country gives zero fucks about you and the rule of law and just being Canadian, well, what's going to keep you in the fight other than self-motivated interest? And that only lasts for so long. You'll break ranks and you'll Didi Mao. This is the big picture. So you have an investigation unit here, and so I'll show you the episode if you guys are curious. Let me just share. Catherine goes into great detail as to what exactly has been going on with CFNIS. There's numerous cases, like horrific cases of incompetence that should never happen, ruining people's lives just because they can. And then clearly there's a problem. Parliament says, hey guys, you're done. You're toast. You're not doing investigations anymore. But yet they still keep on doing what they're doing because they act with impunity, because at the end of the day, the prime minister can't say anything to the military. The only person that can say anything to the military is the CDS. And if the CDS doesn't decide to do anything, the military is completely lawless and works with complete impunity. We all swear to the king, from troop to minister. It's all to the king, which by extension is the governor general. So psychologically, you may not recognize it, but you're like, well, Parliament, like, my allegiance isn't to you. I mean, unless the king says something, I don't really have to do it. So we've created a system here that just doesn't work. It's broken. And so we get into it. And Catherine's always a great guest. So you're definitely going to want to check it out. It drops at 7 p.m. tonight. And you can join in the comments. It's going to be fun times. And that's it. That's it for me today. It's Friday. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Friday. Got a CrossFit workout today with CrossFit Max here in Pierrefonds, Rock Bottom, Montreal. So shout out to Brandon. He's doing some really cool work. We're a bunch of dads. It's a dad's club. Actually, you don't have to be a dad. It's a men's club. Every Friday, 6:15, he builds a workout and we give her. And I love it. So can't wait to go to that. That's today. I think I'm going to get back into jiu-jitsu too. I think my shoulder's better. It's been rough the last 2 months. Haven't been able to fight. Sucks. And update. I haven't given you guys an update on Jared Ficketti's fight. That was 2 weeks ago. Actually, 3 weeks ago. Big Freddy on me for that one. He didn't win. So I had him on the show the other month and chatted with him. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He's in combat jiu-jitsu. So he lost on points, unfortunately. But I'm sure he's going to come back and kick some ass in the future because he doesn't give no fucks. he's a savage. I've enrolled with him. He's really good, and it's cool to see veterans on the international stage doing some really cool stuff. And in this case, he's doing combat jiu-jitsu. And Charles Holt, thanks, bud. Big $10 right here. Appreciate it. Super fan. That's awesome. Much appreciated, friend. And let's get into the comments, guys. I got another 10 minutes before I'm going to bounce. Jiu-jitsu and bears. Yeah, agreed. Charles, a shout out from the Ukraine. Yeah, all right. Oh, man, I hope that shit gets resolved like pronto. But the interesting thing about that war, not to kind of make light of it, is like it completely changed the landscape of war. I remember joking with my buddy, like, why do we still teach like troops to dig in? Like, how retarded is that? Like, nobody's going to dig in. What happens on the next war? Everybody's dug in. And now the drones, I can tell you right now, I'm glad I'm no longer serving. I don't want to have to fight a drone war, man. No way. That shit scares the shit out of me, man. I only watched a handful of those like drone videos with, Russian and Ukrainian troops just getting smoked by these drones. You've seen the video before. Oh, that's pure nightmare, man. That's pure nightmare fuel. I can't watch them because I get nightmares. That to me, like face to face shooting at each other, cool, already okay, cool. Like, but the drone stuff, I don't know. There's something about it that gives me the creeps. So it's awful. It's bloody. We that have served know all too well how awful war is. But yeah, awful shit going on. But I'm optimistic. Yeah, Charles, 30 kilometers FPV. It's insane. Yeah, and that like now that it's all like fiber optic and like it's just wow. I mean, that's a whole other podcast. I mean, I think about this a lot. Like what we're doing here in Canada, what our actual strategy is. We're still working with like the PAM of, all right, we got to secure the borders. We got to make sure we have maritime security. We need to have RD. We need to have tanks. We need to have F-35s. Do you? Like, we're basically starting from scratch. Why would you get all that hardware? Why wouldn't you just completely modernize, start from scratch? Drones, like armor for your like these we're going to Mech Warrior. Like, let's be honest, we're going to Mech Warrior. Invest in that shit. AI, be able to patrol your coastline. Put all your resources into that. Whether it's an Iron Dome, whatever the hell it is, like to shoot down any missiles or whatever they're coming. That's NORAD. Invest in that, and then make sure you have like a massive reserve. Like, we're one of the only countries in the world that has a smaller reserve than Reg Force. It makes no sense. The reserve should be like triple the Reg Force. So that means we should have, let's say like 250,000 reservists. Cool. You don't need to have your reservists train as hard as we do. It doesn't make sense. And we should be able to deploy entire reserve. I'm going off topic, but just kind of bringing back, with the Camerons, their reserve unit. I got a bit prickly in the comments today. It's like, fucking reservists. Like, go eat a fucking dick, man. Like, how did the war actually function? Like 25% of the troops were reservists. The Reg Force didn't give two shits. If you could do your job, you did your job. And we were all wearing the same uniform. We were in the blood and guts with everybody else. Like, has nothing to do with being a reservist. Like, how many retarded things have the Reg Force done? Like, let's be honest. Like, there was just an OnlyFans like fuck shack like that was exposed not too long ago on base. Like, you say, oh, fucking Reg. No, it's just troops being troops, man. There's nothing to do with reservists. Reservists are the only thing that keeps the army going because there's just not enough Reg Force troops. So when there's a war, guess who steps up? But I guess this is good content. If you guys want, this is something I wanted to do and talk about is the reservist experience and how reservists should never be deployed individually in any war ever again. So what do I mean by that? In the States, if you're a reservist, your unit deploys. Like your reserved unit deploys, just like any other unit would. That's how I think we should have it here. Because having experienced the solitary reservist deployment, it sucked. Like the deployment was cool, don't get me wrong, but I didn't deploy with my unit. Yeah, I had guys from my unit, but they were scattered in all kinds of different places. I have no like unit that I can actually say I was deployed with. The 171 Cav was my unit from the 10th Mountain Division, but they were only there for half my tour. And, you know, they're scattered to the wind now. Like I don't see them. So you didn't build any bonds. I didn't come home with anybody. I felt like I was alone and that's not cool. And so that like a lot of reservists, that's kind of, we get, you know, put into Reg Force units and then go home and then end up on EI. VAC doesn't like, we get no out clearance. We don't know any of the benefits. We're injured, we're hurt. It doesn't matter. Like we just fall back into like civilian society and it's just not right, especially after you've been on tour. So I've been meaning to do a post on that. I don't know how much traction to get, but it's just been something that's been on my mind. If you guys think it'd be interesting, let me know. I think it can fundamentally change the way the CAF would operate. If you would say like, hey, if you're joining reserves, like your unit will deploy. It would bring seriousness to the people that join the reserves that, hey, like I will deploy. It's a matter of fact. So you're not going to get the purple haired nose ring weirdos. You have serious people joining, and I guarantee you'd have an increase in recruitment. Oh, I get actual like experience when I join the reserves. Not like find a new great job in the reserves. It's not a great job, man. It's the military. It's going to suck. You could go work at McDonald's if you want a job. So anyways, shout out to my fellow reservists today. Shout out to Cameron Highlanders. You're going through it today. It's going to suck for a while. I hope you close your Facebook group. And I hope all you other guys that have got Facebook groups out there are closing them right quick. 14-year Facebook group. Man, you guys had a good run. I can't believe you had it open for that long. It's just blowing my mind. The memes are going to be fierce. And if you guys are going to get pursued by the big green machine and you feel like it's getting a little bit too spicy, give Catherine a call. That's what she does. And make sure to protect yourself from prosecution. Make sure you get proper representation and not like Lieutenant Bloggins who's been in the Army 2 years. Not going to help. So just a reminder, we got a new episode dropping tonight. We got episodes that are going to be dropping for the rest of the few weeks, even though I won't be doing any new ones. They'll be scheduled. So don't worry. There's going to be plenty of content coming out in the Hard to Kill podcast. And if you haven't already done so, join the Hard to Kill Hard AF Originals Founders Club, where you get a signed copy of my new book. There's a bestseller on Amazon, and you'll get your book, you'll get a digital copy, and you'll also get access to my new GPT, which is essentially me, but in digital format, coaching you on how to get your nutrition dialed in, how to get your fitness dialed in, and how to build a hard to kill protocol, just like what I've done in the book. So guys, I love you all. Thanks so much. Thanks for the generous donations to Charles Holt. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, there's a membership that is available as well. If you go onto your YouTube page, you buy me a coffee for $2.99 or upgrade yourself to any one of the tiers that is there. It helps grow the channel and get bigger and better guests. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and train hard, but easy. See you next one. Peace.